Welcome to Lens Talk Fashion. Today we have with us Nupur Chaudhary, the founder of label Nupur Chaudhary. It takes some guts to give up a successful career in journalism and switch over to the business of shoes. And for this, we really admire her. At the second row, we love fashion, but not at the cost of the earth. And so does she. As she rightly puts it, no souls were harmed in the production of these shoes.
Started when I was 16. So straight out of school, I had 1 week of leave and then I took up a job with Indian Express as a summer job basically. I worked with Sakal Times, I worked with Pune Times, I worked with Femina. So my last job was deputy editor of Pune Times. So I've always been inclined towards fashion, lifestyle and celebrities and glamour because that is essentially what I covered. I did do news as well, but my heart lay in features. While that brought me closer to fashion, but I think my love for shoes dates back to I think when I was probably 6 and dad would read me stories and Cinderella, every girl, so that glass slipper had me hooked. But it never really struck me that I could become a footwear designer. I don't know why, maybe I'd not read enough about it, but it was always like a designer is clothes. When I was in Australia, I did my masters in journalism from Australia. So we had a girls' night and wine and all that stuff, and we were watching P.S. I Love You. So it sounds cheesy, but yeah, that's when I saw that she actually makes shoes, I actually told the girls that's what I want to do. When you're established already, when and plus I've spent so much money and investment in the degree abroad, and I knew that when I go back home to India, I will have a job waiting for me. So it never occurred to me that I could just make the switch and learn something new. So I came back, I continued working with Sakal Times, then moved to Femina, moved to Times of India and Indian Express after that. My then boyfriend and now husband, he was the one, he's like, just do it. So I looked up different courses, and at that time I couldn't invest 3 years again in another course. So I found this really nice short-term course at London College of Fashion. So I applied for it, I got through, we had to send them sketches and why we want to get into it and stuff. That's how I think my journey with footwear actually began, because while studying it, it was tough because I'm coming from a writing background. I had not sketched in so long, but I wanted to do it. I worked really hard, stayed up nights, brushed up on sketching, and we did a lot of walks and looking at different fashion houses over there and stuff that can inspire you, museums. So all that really got me inspired, and I knew that this is what I eventually want to end up doing for the rest of my life. When I came back, I got back into my work mode. Of course, I met different karigars here. I continued sketching. I sort of made designs that I knew I eventually wanted to execute, but I didn't know how to go about it in this market. So that's when the thought occurred to me that maybe I need to study the Indian market, the Indian way of functioning, because it's really very different. I looked up again courses over here. I checked and I found another course at FTDI. So I enrolled for it, and but before enrolling, I had to make that crucial decision to quit or not to quit. I couldn't do both because that was in Bombay and I'm in Pune. So that's when Ashwin, my husband, he said you just have to do it. So just quit and do it. You can always get back to journalism if it doesn't work out. You're not losing anything. So I was like, okay. When you think of India, it's really, really very different. So over here, everything is, it's very mass fashion, I would say. And I think people in India are less ready to really experiment. Another thing is people here, I find, are not really willing to spend a lot of money on shoes. Like, I know every girl loves shoes, but I still have questions, though we are priced quite reasonably according to me. So we still have people saying, why is it so high? So that's when I tell them, you're not just looking at a product, like you're not just looking at, oh, the material cost is so much, her maker must have charged her so much and it's put together. No, it's a lot of hard work. It's your design, it's your creativity. It's, I'm traveling up and down. We do samples, we take products and we chuck them because no, this doesn't work. We remake them. So there's a lot that goes into that, and which I feel people here do not appreciate as much as people over there appreciate. Thirdly, I think we tend to copy a lot. Like in terms of, oh, if this celeb has worn this, then I will wear this. It works for me when it comes to non-leather, because right now you have a lot of celebrities endorsing ethical fashion. You have them supporting PETA, you have them supporting vegetarianism or veganism. So that really is working for sort of where we are and where we are headed. Being in Bombay, I could actually go around, go into those, nooks and corners. You have to find the right workmen. So that was a point actually, after learning how to cut the perfect patterns. I aced all of that, how to make a shoe. I'd made a shoe in London as well, but I made a few more over here. So when you make your own shoe, you're like, wow, and I can do this. But us doing it and an experienced craftsman doing it is very different. One, the speed. We are obviously slower than what they are because they make stuff in bulk. And two, their years of experience. So they know this thing, in Indian we have this thing called jugaad. So which they are the best at. We'll go buy the book and say, no, I have to do this, now I have to cut it like this. But they'll find a way how to do something. So that's something I've learned on the job in the last 7 months with my karigars. The hunt for the right karigar was really tough for me because one, I didn't know Bombay. Two, going about and sampling with a lot of people and then not being happy with the product. They'll promise you, yes, we can do this. There was a point in the middle where I actually thought, have I made the right decision? What if I can't do this? I'll have to go back to journalism, but I really want to. And it was somewhere around that time when I thought, I don't think I'm going to get the right people. When I found the right set of guys, and we sampled a lot of designs, particularly 6 really tough designs. That is another thing. Then came the point of deliveries. Like I even read with y'all that y'all would deliver yourself, so I would deliver myself as well. And setting up my online store. So I didn't know how to go about it. That's when I saw that ad on Facebook about Shopify. I'm not kind of promoting it, but it's really easy to do. So I tried it out and it worked for me. So I didn't have to do anything. I just had to put in the material. So now I and my husband, both of us design. He's a big support for me, and he's also very creatively inclined. Then the patterns are cut. So we pay very, very minute attention to the patterns because even 2 mm difference can ruin a whole shoe, and I'm very particular about sampling. So we make one sample in my size, and once that is perfect, like, after the changes, after all the glitches are, exterminated, that's when we go ahead and make a bulk order of that. So I make around 10 or 16 pairs in one design because right now we stock at 4 different boutiques, so we have to give them those numbers. Yeah, in each design. Until now, I think in the last 7 months we've done about 35 different designs. One of the USPs of label Nupur Chaudhary is Gladiator. And I remember when I wanted to buy one over here, I never got the right pair. I never. One of the highlights has been the Kolhapuri Gladiators we did. So we've done Kolhapuris on 5-inch wedge heels with Gladiator straps at the back. That's been like a sellout. We've had to remake that along with our tassel Kolhapuris. My first customer was my mother-in-law. So yeah, she's really encouraging. I mean, I think I'm very lucky to have a family like that. So she bought a pair worth $1,250, but she gave me $5,000 for it. Yeah, apart from that, we had our opening, and I think my friend Minoti Makim, she bought the Kolhapuri red tassel high wedges, and she loves them. one of the things about the label, a standout point, is that we're a cruelty-free label. I am crazy about animals. If I see an injured animal, I will do everything I can to help it, or to rehome animals. And I've always grown up with dogs, so they like a soft spot for me. So I knew in my head when I started that I will never touch leather, and that was one thing I spoke to my workmen as well, that we will not ever touch leather, be it in the sole or any part of it. Even the glue cannot have animal fat. So very particular about that. So the materials we use are substitutes to leather. So we call it man-made leather or faux leather. So it's basically PVC. Since I learned, while sourcing them and on the job, they're very sturdy. So you get certain kinds of PVC which even I would not be able to tell the difference between which one is actual leather. Like the buffing, everything is perfect. A thing with me is I don't want anyone to look at the pair and say, oh, I love it, but I can't afford it. Or buy one pair and say, I wish I could buy another pair, but I can't. So the price points we've kept in mind because I want to make fashion accessible to every girl. There's another thing about the durability of, people generally think leather is more durable than this, but I think each material has its pros and cons. Like leathers per se, in the rains, in water, you wouldn't wear and spoil a leather shoe, but ours would work well in rain. And as for storage, if you store our shoes properly, if you have, the silica gel and you store it in mull cloths or, in the pouches we give you, they will last. And another thing about making shoes last and not peel off since they are non-leather, you have to wear them. If you don't wear them and just keep them and admire them, eventually it's going to break. And the capital that we required, that was also one of the things I really had to think about, because I'm the kind of girl who doesn't save money. But luckily for me, my parents eventually got really supportive of what I want to do because they saw my determination and the hours I put into really learning the stuff. So they gave me a fixed amount to work with, and so suppose they gave me a lakh and a half to invest into my business. Touch wood, today I have managed to sustain with that. You mean roll and make more with that kind of money. So you cannot make a fool of me, which is why I think education and learning what you want to do is very important. But then again, what you learn on the job, your courses will never give you, because you're learning something new every day. You're learning how to do jugaad, and that is a lifesaver. I think everything in life happens according to plan. So I think my 11 years of being in this industry have really helped my little business venture to sort of kick up, because I know so many people, not only from the media but outside as well. They were very supportive. The media has been very supportive in writing so many articles about me without me actually asking. So that really touched me. I think networking is everything. Today you will have an excellent product, but I don't know who you are. I'm not going to buy it. I'll go to the next person who I know, and I know they make good stuff. I'll buy it. So that person has a one-up on you because they're known. So I think networking is everything. And you need to keep up with, events that are happening. You need to get out there, mingle with people, get your cards printed, carry your products along. Show it to people. See, when you're starting something, I've learned you have to be shameless. You cannot be like, no, I can't do this. You have to do it. It's very important, because at the end, the customer is the one who's buying my product, who is actually investing in my business by buying my product. So that is why I said we've actually molded ourselves to give the customer what they want. Initially, we were all about really high heels. But right now, if you see our new collections, we are more of flats and the mid-heel range. And this is only because of the feedback we've got from people. Stella McCartney.